Schmidt, who takes a closer look for us.
I think it's become more difficult for people to retire.
Working to 70, 80 years old.
You really see that happening for yourself?
Yep.
Why?
Because it's just, the cost of living goes up. Salaries don't go up.
I don't expect to be able to retire until at least 74.
Rent, food, gas, everything is more expensive. So it's like, to keep up with it, you need to work. In a few years, in some time, we're not even going to have Social Security anymore, so we're not going to have anything to fall back on, so it's only going to be work.
The days of retiring and being able to ride off into the sunset appear to be over. A survey conducted by the Transamerica Center for Retirement Studies found that 82% of people over age 60 expect to work or are already working past age 65 or don't plan to retire at all. And 52% plan to work during retirement because they need the money or health benefits.
Due to savings shortfalls, people haven't saved as much as they need to, and longer life expectancy, that just stopping working when you're 65 for many just doesn't make sense anymore.
Catherine Collinson with the Transamerica Center says the economy has changed the definition of retirement.
We can't underestimate the effects of the Great Recession on Americans and their retirement preparedness. The good news is, in our survey, we find that most are recovering, but especially those who are nearing retirement, it's a whole lot harder for them to recover and retire on time. So it is a natural outcome of that are people planning to work longer and retire at an older age.
And Collinson says survey results found that most people feel that even if they are able to invest and save, the money will run out.
When we ask people their greatest fears and concerns about retirement, the most frequently cited concern is outliving one's savings and investments. And many are afraid that their standard of living will decrease when they retire.
All right, thank you very much for that, Linda. This is something that's going to affect all of us, so let's talk about it right now. Joining me, my two guests, Gigi Stone, our finance expert, is here. Hi, Gigi.
Hello.
Nice to have you here.
Thank
and Dr.
you.
Miki McCrillis, our New York psychologist. You guys have a lot to offer here because we want to kind of balance this out. First of all, let's talk about, the economy. It's really changed the definition of retirement, Gigi. Is it going to stay that way, or is it ever going to go back to the good old days?
It's so hard to know. One thing's for sure, retirement is in a little bit of a crisis right now. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but the most important thing to keep in mind is that there's no shame in continuing to work past retirement age.
Right.
2/3 of Americans are actually working past retirement age right now, and you might want to think about some sort of small business or consulting, because you probably have skills and assets from all those years on the job that you might not have thought of. If you keep overhead costs low, you can do something to generate a little extra income.
Gigi, a lot of people really like, working and not necessarily retiring. Now, Miki, a lot of people, too, are saying, but I am worried. I'm worried about the stress that's involved here. I need to work. I need to make money. I'm worried about my health and so forth. From an emotional standpoint, what do you say? How do people handle that?
Well, retirement is very connected, Ernie. It's connected to your identity with work, your social network. People have friends, connections at work, your benefits, as you mentioned. So in order for someone to make a healthy psychological decision to retire, they really need to think out a plan. They have to plan ahead.
Right.
And they have to plan ahead for something that they're interested in, that they have an interest in, that it fulfills the next phase of their passions and their interests.
And if they start to feel a little down or a little depressed about, having to work and not wanting and not being able to retire the way they'd like to, how do they handle that? What do they tell themselves?
Well, again, that's working through what it is that they have to change their goals and finding the next transition to their goals. What is it that they want? What are their interests? Who are they going to spend retirement with? Is it their family, their friends, social network, and setting a plan up for that? Maybe not full-time, doing part-time, finding a bridge.
Got it. Gigi, should people be thinking about, maybe moving to an area that's less expensive, or even possibly moving in with their children or other family members? They need to make things work.
It's a stark reality. You definitely have to think about downsizing to make your life a little bit more comfortable. Move to a smaller home, get a smaller car to save money on gas, move to a lower tax area if you continue to work. That will make your income go a lot farther. If you have a lot of equity in your home and you're over the age of 62, you can think about a reverse mortgage. That could bring in a steady stream of income. It's not for everyone, so you want to meet with a financial planner. Or, as you mentioned, your children, you've made a lot of sacrifices for them over the years.
Now it's their turn.
Maybe it's time for payback.
Do you think, a lot of couples get closer? I mean, does this kind of a situation bring you closer together, or just more emotional?
Well, they definitely get closer because they plan together for the rest of their years together. And, with retirement, you look at your whole life. It's kind of an assessment plan, and you're moving forward with that, with your partner, with your family, or planning to go into, as Gigi mentioned, a residential community, which gives you a lot of those things, extracurricular.
So, the upside to this whole thing.
Just don't think of it as retirement in the traditional sense. Think of it as a new chapter, life 2.0. You might find something you really like doing that could generate a little bit extra income. You'd probably be bored on the golf course all day anyway if you've had a big career.
What should people do emotionally, thinking about this whole thing? What's the upside?
They should try to stay positive, think of their real passions, and look at this next stage of retirement or sub-retirement as their opportunity to do all the things they wanted to do while still moving on in life. And longevity, you know, it's also something that keeps you going.
I know. You guys are not going to retire. I can tell because you have a lot of passion for what you do. And that's a very important part of your life, too, to be passionate and excited and interested in what you're doing. You live to 100 years old.
And people are these days. Life expectancies are longer than ever, so you have to plan for that.
I know. Gigi, Dr. Miki, thank you so much for joining me. Okay, good conversations.
Great.
All right. An NBA arena might not be the first place you'd think of if you're looking for an art gallery, but if you head on over to Barclays Center for a Nets game, you'll get more than just a basketball game. We're going to talk to the man behind it all coming up next. And be here tomorrow for our look at questionable hiring practices. If you're looking for jobs, some questions in your interview could be illegal. What to watch for and how to respond. Publisher Steve Forbes will join me here live tomorrow at 6. We're back in a minute, and enjoy the music.
Closed captioning brought to you by your local Lexus dealer.